Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr President. My question without notice is to the Leader of the Government in his capacity as Minister for Utilities. Given last week's revelations that Sydney Water is considering privatising their civil delivery and wastewater treatment units, do you support the sacking of up to 400 employees and the contracting out of essential services such as emergency repairs and the maintenance of sewerage facilities?
Hypothetical, Adam.
Just say no, John.
It's going to take more than 10 seconds.
The Minister.
Firstly, I'd like to take this opportunity to commend Sydney Water on their ongoing efforts to drive value for money for customers. To date, this has meant identifying efficiencies and implementing new and innovative ways to deliver water and wastewater services to Greater Sydney. These efforts have already resulted in the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal announcing a $100 per year reduction in the typical household bill for Sydney Water customers over the next 4 years. In relation to the civil workforce, the nominal term of their enterprise agreement expires on June the 30th. Sydney Water's management have in fact approached the unions, stating their very clear preference that both civil and treatment businesses be retained in-house, and that is the position of the government.
However,
what is being considered is what changes to the operating model can be made to bring the in-house workforce back on par with equivalent utility workforces across Australia. Not just in terms of costs, but equally, in fact, if not more importantly, in relation to safety and customer satisfaction. This makes sense. I look forward to updating the House on the outcome of Sydney Water's enterprise agreement negotiations throughout the year. But let's just have some context in terms of the question that's been asked.
Please.
The Honourable Peter Primrose had a few remarks to make. Well, under the government in which you served as a minister between 1995 and 2011, the following and 2011. Well, I said,
Do your homework.
I know exactly when you were here. I know when you were here, and you served as a minister in the government.
Minister will sit down. Order. Now, I've been incredibly patient, I believe, so far during question time. Now, clearly, interjections are disorderly. Responding to interjections are disorderly. Having a screaming match between the two of you is clearly disorderly. I would ask that stops immediately. Minister has the floor.
Under the previous government, the following assets, services or functions were either outsourced, sold or privatised. Around 80% of Sydney Water's operating and capital works services were provided by external parliaments under your watch. The mechanical and electrical maintenance and renewals program went to Transfield to deliver mechanical and electrical renewals across around 40% of Sydney Water assets. The private sector was engaged to build and then operate the desalination plant. The private sector was used to build and operate the Gerringong Giroa wastewater scheme, St Mary's recycling scheme and the Rosehill Camellia recycled water scheme. Sydney Water's head office in Bathurst Street was sold. All over the counter payment and inquiries done by Sydney Water staff were closed.
I call the Honourable Shoket Muslimani to order for the first time.
Full-time equivalent of staff under your watch was reduced from 5,965 to 3,005. A reduction of around 50%.
Minister's time has expired.
Mr. President.